All right, so make sure that you guys, if you have a yoga strap, it comes in handy for our stretching. Always remember, if you don't actually have a strap, I think most of you do, you can always use like a scarf or an old necktie, even a towel or something, a belt from a robe. So it, you know, just really works well for our stretching here. So we'll get started here. So again, have your strap handy, and then we're gonna start on our backs. So when you come onto your backs here, you can bend your knees if you'd like, or you can just lay flat. You can rest your hands on your belly, connect with your breath. You can bring them along your sides like Shavasana. So whatever feels good to you. We want to take a few moments here and just get centered. So just relax your body. And quiet your mind. Make sure that your breathing is nice and smooth and slow and deep. And then take a moment and bring your awareness to your heart center and set an intention, a positive, personal, loving statement or word. And then repeat that intention in your mind. Try to go back to it throughout the practice. Maybe you'll even carry it with you throughout the rest of your day. Let's begin with a nice full big body stretch. So reaching the arms overhead, you can wiggle out the fingers and the toes. And then you'll bend your knees and we're going to hug them into our chest and we'll circle around a few times. And then reverse the circles. And then we're going to send our legs straight up to the ceiling and our arms as well, and drop your shoulders down a little bit. And then we're just going to do some circles with our ankles and our wrists. And then reverse those circles. And then you can point the toes and the fingertips down and up. So just stretching out the front and the back of the wrists and the front and back of the ankles. And then bend your knees. Lower your feet down. And we're going to start out with a twist. So we're going to stretch the arms out, shoulder height. Palms can either be up or down. And we're going to drop our knees to the left for a twist. So drop your knees to the left and then look over your right shoulder. Now from here, we're gonna roll all the way onto our left side. So just roll onto your left side. We're gonna do a couple things for our shoulders. So you can just kind of rest your head here on your arm. And then we're laying on the left side, and then I'm gonna bring my right arm up, and then I'm just gonna make some circles here. So just imagine there's a big circle in front of you. You're just tracing it around. So we're getting into our shoulder a little bit here. And then reverse. And then this next one, again, we're working on our shoulders. I'm gonna take my right arm in front of me, the palms down, and then I'm just opening it up behind me and my knuckles touch the floor. Yours might not if your shoulders are tight, so no worries. And then I'm gonna bring the arm forward, palms down, and then open it up again. And we'll do one more. And then we're gonna roll onto our backs again. Let's hug those knees into the chest again and circle around. And then reverse. And then we're gonna start out with our twist again, but we're gonna twist this time over to the right. So stretch your arms out, shoulder height, palms either up or down. And then we're gonna drop the knees over to the right. And then you can look over the left shoulder. And then we're gonna roll all the way onto the right side, and we're gonna do those shoulder rotations on the left arm. So just come onto your right arm. You can just rest your head here, and then you're gonna lift the left arm up here. And then I'm just gonna make those big circles here. Again, like you're just tracing a circle in front of you, really getting into the shoulder. And then reverse. And then my arms in front of me, palms down, and then I'm opening it up to the left here, and then again, bringing it down, opening. Again, if your shoulders are tight, your knuckles might not touch the floor. And then we're gonna roll onto our backs again. Let's just roll the shoulders up, back and down. And we'll hug the knees into the chest one more time and circle around. And then reverse. And then lower the feet down and grab onto your strap. So we're gonna take our strap, we're gonna get into some stretches for our hamstrings and our hips. So bring your right knee into your chest and place the strap around the bottom of your right foot, and then extend your right leg up to the ceiling. And then you always have an option here, so you can bend the left knee if you'd like, or you could keep the left leg straight, the foot would be flexed. So that's really up to you. So I'm gonna get into my hamstring here, and you can always start, kind of connecting with that big tight muscle. So you can your leg back and forth a little bit here. You can bring the heel down and up a little bit. You can even bend the knee and then re-straighten the leg. So you want to feel that stretch in the back of the thigh. And I'm pushing through my heel. You can see my toes. I'm bringing them towards my face. And then I'm going to start to open the leg to the right. You can place both ends of your strap or belt in your right hand. You could take your left hand on your hip. And then I'm just starting to open. So feeling a stretch in the inner thigh, opening the hip here. And then we'll come to center. And then you could switch out the strap and you could put it in the left hand here. And we're going to take that right leg over to the left. Pushing through the heel, leg is straight. Feeling a stretch in the outer thigh and even into the glute. And then we'll come back to center. Now, we're going to get into our hips a little bit here. So I'm going to keep both ends of the strap in my left hand. And I'm just going to make some circles here. So as if I'm tracing a circle on the ceiling with the bottom of my foot. And this is coming from your hip. So the leg isn't swinging around. It's very controlled from the hip. So we want to open up that hip here. And then you can reverse the direction. And come back to center. Now, if your left leg is straight, bend it at this time. So bend your knee. And then we're going to use the strap here. And we're going to come into a half of a happy baby. So I'm going to just take my strap here and then I'm opening up my leg, bending the knee, and then just bringing the knee in towards my right armpit. And you're getting a big hip opener here. And then let's just release that. Set the strap off to your left. Then just kind of bend your knees, tick-tock them back and forth a little bit. And then we're gonna do that all on the left side. So we're gonna take the strap around the bottom of the left foot. And I'm going to extend my left leg up to the ceiling. And then you have the option here. So you can bend your right knee or you can extend your right leg long. So whatever is good for you. And then I'm just getting a really big, nice stretch here in the back of the thigh, the hamstring. And then maybe you want to do a little movement. So maybe move the leg back and forth a couple times. Or lower the heel up and down. Or bend the knee and then re-straighten the leg. Pushing through the heel, toes come towards your face. And then I'm going to take my right hand on my right hip. And then I'm going to open my leg to the left. Continuing to push through the heel, leg is straight. You feel the stretch in the inner thigh. And then we'll come back to center. take the strap in your right hand, and then we're going to bring the leg over to the right. And then come back to center. And then I'm going to make those circles here. So I'm just kind of tracing these circles on the ceiling with my foot. I'm getting into the hip. And then reverse. And then we're going to do that half happy baby with the strap on the left side. So bend your right, if your right leg is straight, bend it at this time. And then I'm just going to open up the leg and then bringing the knee towards my armpit, getting that half happy baby stretch. So that hip opener here. And then we'll release that and just set your strap off to the side and then just kind of tick-tock your knees back and forth. And we'll do one more really nice hip opener, and which is also great for the low back. We'll come into our reclined bound angle or reclined butterfly pose. So the knees are bent, and then you're going to drop them open, press the soles of your feet together, and you can rest your hands either on your thighs or on your belly if you'd like, or even stretch them out, palms up. So whatever feels good to you. Take a few nice deep breaths here. And then take your hands and then just gently bring your knees together. Keep them touching. You can walk your feet out about mat width apart. Let those knees fall in. This is a counter pose to the bound angle. And then walk your feet in. And then gently roll over to one side. And then we're going to come up to a seated position. So take your time here. And then I'm in my cross-legged seated position, sitting up nice and tall here. If this isn't comfortable for you, you can always send your legs straight out in front of you, which is our staff pose. So if that's more comfortable to you, then you can sit that way. Because sometimes cross-legged might bother your knees or hips. So we're going to sit up nice and tall, lift the shoulders up, back, and down. Take a few deep breaths. And then we're going to take some nice stretches for the neck. So drop your chin to your chest. We'll start just with some circles. And then reverse. And then come back to center. We're going to stretch the sides of our neck. So you can tilt your right ear to your right shoulder, or if you want to deepen the stretch, you can take your right hand on top of your head and bring the right ear to the right shoulder. You can even take your left hand and just kind of press it or even crawl it out on your mat a little bit. And then we'll come back to center. And then we're going to switch. So again, you can bring your left ear to your left shoulder. That might be enough of a stretch. Or you could take your left hand on top of your head and bring it a little bit closer. Take your right hand on the mat, maybe slide it forward. And then we'll come back to center, and then we'll interlace the fingers, and I'm going to place them at the base of the neck, elbows nice and wide. Take an inhale, and then exhale, drop the chin to the chest, bring those elbows towards each other, and come on up. Let's do 2 more. And then release that. And then we'll just do a couple more circles here. Reverse. And then come back to center. Now we'll take our hands to the outside of our knees, or if your legs are straight out, then you'll place them on your thighs. And we're going to do our circles here. So this one's really nice for the low back. And then we'll reverse. And then come back to center. So now, if you're cross-legged, let's all uncross our legs. And it just scared me. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is my daughter's pet rabbit. Oh boy. Okay, so we'll sit in our staff pose here. So sitting up nice and tall here. You want to make sure when you do sit in staff pose, there's a lot of core work going on. And so your shoulders are in line with your hips. So make sure you're not leaning forward too much or, you know, slumping back. So we want to sit up really nice in our staff pose. We're going to get into our shoulders a little bit. So we're going to bring the arms all the way up and interlace the fingers. Bring the hands to about your nose and then flip the palms towards the toes and then push forward. And then drop the chin to the chest, round in the upper back. You'll feel a nice stretch here in the shoulders, the arms, and the upper back. So really push. And then come all the way back up. And then release the hands and then just press them behind you. And then open the chest. And then come back to center. So continuing with our shoulders and upper back here a little bit, let's just make 2 light fists and just do some circles here. Kind of loosen up the shoulders. We tend to hold a lot of tension in our shoulders. And then reverse. Now, continuing with our shoulders here, we're gonna do our eagle arms. Now, I wanna show an option here. So the eagle arms, you take your right arm over your left and then under, and then we lift up. If that's not available to you, what you could do is take your right arm over. You're just kind of give yourself a hug here, and then you would lift the elbows up. So if you can't do the wrap eagle, this is always a nice option, and you're still going to get a really good shoulder stretch. So I'm going to come into my eagle arms, and then I'm going to just lift my elbows up and just lean back a little bit. And then you're going to come down, and then you're going to lean forward a little bit. So kind of just a flat back fold. And then come back up and unwrap and shake it out. And then we'll do the other side. So you can wrap your arms around like this, and then lifting up and down, or take your left arm over and under for your eagle arms. We're going to lift the elbows up, just lean back a little bit. And then you're going to come down, little bit of a flat back fold. And then come back up. And then release, and then just kind of roll your shoulders around. Okay, so we're gonna move on here. So let's grab our strap again. And we're gonna take the strap just around the bottom of the right foot. You're gonna bend your left knee and place the sole of the left foot on the inside of the right thigh. And we're gonna take a forward fold, seated forward fold. This one is nice though, because it's also gonna give you that hip opener, and then you'll get the nice stretch in the back of the body and the hamstrings again. Sit up nice and tall, and then you're gonna inhale, lengthen the spine, and then you'll exhale, fold. And then we'll come on up. And then you could just set the strap to the side. And then we're gonna bring our left knee straight up to the ceiling here. I'm gonna take a seated twist. So I'm gonna take my right arm. I'm gonna give the knee a hug. Take my left hand behind me, sit up tall, looking over the left shoulder for a twist. And then we'll unwind. And we'll do that on the other side. So we're gonna first come into that fold. So take your strap around the bottom of the left foot, and then we're gonna bend the right knee, and then you're gonna place the sole of the right foot on the inside of that left thigh. And again, we're getting the hip opener, and then we're gonna get a nice stretch here for our hamstring. And then these folds also give you a nice stretch down your back. Sit up nice and tall. And then fold forward. And then come on up. Set the strap off to the side, and then bring your right knee up to the ceiling here, keeping it bent. And we're going to take the twist on the other side. So I'm going to take my left arm. I'm going to give that knee a hug. And then my right hand comes behind me. I'm going to sit up nice and tall as I twist to the right. and come back to center, and then extend your legs out. Just kind of bounce them up and down a little bit here. And then we're gonna make our way into a tabletop position. So we'll come to all fours here. So we're gonna do our cat and cows. So I'm on all fours here, and your fingers are spread nice and wide. And there's always a little bend in your elbows, and then the wrists are in line with the shoulders and the knees are in line with the hips. And then we're gonna do our cat and cow, which we know is just great for your back, for the spine. It also opens the chest. And it's real important that you do connect the breath here though. So when you come into your cat, you exhale. And then cow is inhale. So I'm saying I'm lowering the belly down, and I'm opening up my chest here too, so you can even gaze up a little bit. And then keep going at your own pace. And then come to that nice flat back. We're gonna get another shoulder stretch here. So we're gonna thread the needle. So I'm gonna bring my right arm up, and then I'm gonna scoop it under my left arm, and then I'm bringing my right cheek to the mat. And you can stay here, or you could take your left hand and you could place it on the low back if you'd like. Or you can leave it here, or you can even stretch it out towards the top of your mat. So wherever is good for you. And then I'm gonna push through my left hand. I'm gonna come back up, and I'm gonna reach my right arm up again. And then lower down. And then we're gonna thread the needle on the other side. So again, this is a real nice stretch for your shoulder. So left arm is gonna reach up, and then you're gonna scoop it under, and then you're gonna take your cheek to the mat. And then again, you can leave the hand here, or you could stretch it out in front, or you could place it on the low back. And then push yourself up, reach the left arm up again, and then lower down. All right, so we're still in our tabletop. We're gonna get in a little core work here. So I'm gonna take my right leg behind me. So I'm just kind of lifting it up. And then I'm gonna cross it over the left, and my toes tapping, and I'm looking over the left shoulder. And then I'm gonna bring it out to the right and look over the right shoulder. Do that 2 more times. And then you'll come back to center here. And then you can always keep the toe down or lift up the leg, and then send your opposite arm, which would be your left arm, straight out, pulling the belly towards the spine. And then we'll lower down, take a few cat and cows. And then we'll come to the other side here. So we're gonna take our left leg out and drop the toes down. And then we're going to take the leg over to the right, look over the right shoulder. Bring it out to the left, look over the left shoulder. 2 more times. And then we're going to do that core balance. So again, you can keep your toes down if you need to, or lifting the leg up, and then reaching the opposite arm, which would be your right arm out. And then lower down. We'll take a couple cat and cows. And then one more core strengthening move. We're going to do our full arm plank. So I'm going to step my right foot back and then my left foot back and then lower the hips down, push through the heels. If you need to drop your knees, go right ahead. And then we're all going to drop the knees and then come into child's pose. So your knees are wide, big toes together, sinking back towards the heels, and then rest your head here. And then if you'd like to, maybe you want to circle your wrists around a little bit here. And then we're going to come on up. We're going to do a couple of things standing here. So what we're going to do is we'll come to downward facing dog and then standing. But remember, you can always skip downward dog if you want to. You could just come right to a standing forward fold. So if you come to down dog, again, your fingers are spread nice and wide here. And then you'll curl the toes under. You're going to lift those hips up towards the ceiling here. And then bend the knees and look between your hands as you walk your feet forward. And then we'll all meet in our forward fold. And then slowly come on up, palms together, hands to heart center, and then we'll make our way into our mountain pose. So your feet are about hip width apart, toes pointed straight ahead. Nice open chest, the shoulders up, back and down. Take a few breaths here. And then we're going to sweep the arms all the way up and then fold all the way down. Sweep the arms all the way up again. Palms together, hands to heart center. And release. We'll do that again. Arms up. Fold forward. Sweep the arms up again. Hands to heart. And release. All right, so we're going to get a little side stretch here. So we're going to stretch out the sides of our bodies. So you're going to bring your arms all the way up, and then you're going to grab onto your right wrist with your left hand. And then the arms are straight along your ears, and then we're going to stretch to the left. And then come to center. And then we're going to switch. So we're going to grab onto the left wrist with the right hand. Arms are straight and along the ears. And then we're going to stretch over to the right. And then come back to center. And then just release your arms down. Just kind of shake from side to side or twist from side to side here. And then coming back to your mountain pose, take a few nice deep breaths. And then I'm going to turn so you can see me a little bit better. We're going to bring those arms all the way up and then fold forward. And then we're going to come all the way up again. Bring your hands to your heart and we're going to sit back into our chair. So chair pose. Now you want to make sure you can see your toes here. If not, you need to shift your hips back a little bit. And then come all the way up. Fold forward. We're going to do that again, but we're going to add a twist. So come all the way up again. Hands to heart. Sit in your chair pose. And then we're going to twist to the right. Make sure your knees are in line because you're twisting your upper body. You don't want to throw your hip into it. And then unwind from that twist. Rise up and fold forward. We're going to do the other side. Arms up, palms together, hands to heart. We're going to sit in our chair pose here again. This time we're going to twist to the left. And unwind. Come all the way back up. And fold forward. Stay here for a couple breaths. Shake your head out. If you want, you could grab opposing elbows with your hands. And then release that. Sweep your arms up again. Palms together, hands to heart center. And release. Coming into your mountain pose. So now we're going to come into balance. We're going to do our tree pose. And you can always get a chair or you could go over to a wall if you would like. So if you need that type of support, that's fine. And we'll start on the right side. So my right leg will be my supporting leg. And then I'm going to bring my heel to the ankle. And that's always a really great starting point for tree. If you want to bring it up a little bit higher, you can. I'm just kind of using my big toe as a little kickstand. Or you can bring it below the knee. And then your arms can be down here or at your heart or like branches on a tree. And then we'll release that. And then I'm going to just march it out a little bit here. And then I like to usually circle that ankle after. That supporting ankle, so your right ankle. And then we'll try the other side. So my left leg is down. And then I'm bringing my heel to the ankle. That's always a nice option. Or up a little bit higher or higher. And then again, you can add your arms however you want. And then release that. And then march it out a little bit here. And then we'll circle out that left ankle. And then reverse. And then make your way to the tops of your mats. Sweep your arms all the way up again. And then we're going to fold down. And then we're going to bend the knees and we're going to step back into one more down dog, or you could come right to tabletop. And then if you're in down dog, drop your knees to tabletop. And then come onto your bellies. We're gonna do a back bend. So come all the way down onto your bellies here. And then stretch your arms out. Give yourself a nice big stretch. And then we're going to come into our back bend, which is going to be our Sphinx pose. Sphinx pose. So that is on the forearms. If any of you want to do a Cobra pose, go right ahead. So I'm on my forearms here. I'm getting a very nice gentle back bend here. And try not to sink down, okay? So really push up. So you don't want your shoulders in by your ears. And then very gently, you want to lower down and then just stack your forearms here, bend your knees. Just kind of rock them from side to side. And then we want to counterpose that back bend. So we're going to come back into our child's pose. And then when you're ready, we're going to make our way onto our back. So we'll do a couple more things and then it'll be Shavasana time. So come on down to your backs. So come all the way down here. We'll do a couple of gentle bridge poses here. So palms down along your sides. Knees are bent. Bring your heels a little bit closer to your seats here. Try not to splay your knees open. And then we'll just lift up into a bridge pose. We're going to do 3 of these. And then you're going to slowly lower down. Tuck the knees back and forth. And we'll come into bridge pose number 2. And lower down. Tuck the knees back and forth. And our 3rd bridge pose. And lower that down and tuck your knees back and forth a little bit here. And we're going to do a couple more stretches here. So keep your knees bent. We're going to cross our right ankle above the left knee. We call this a number 4 stretch. Make sure you're right for this flex. This is going to get into your hip again a little bit here. And then we're going to take our right hand in between the number 4. We're going to interlace our fingers behind the thigh. Bring the knees in towards the chest and extend your leg up to the ceiling. You're going to feel that hamstring stretch again. And then lower down and stay in the number 4 stretch, and then just kind of rock a few times from side to side. And we're gonna get into this next stretch, which is gonna stretch your glutes. So just slide that right leg over. So almost like, you know, you're cross-legged at a table. So your knees are gonna be stacked here. And then you're gonna bring the knees in towards the chest, and maybe you reach for the shins or the ankles here. And then release that and uncross. Rock a little bit from side to side there. And then we're gonna come to the other side. So we're gonna come to our number 4 stretch on this side. So I'm gonna cross my left ankle above my right knee. Getting that hip opener here. Always making sure that that left foot is flexed. You could take your hand, just kind of press on the thigh a little bit. And then I'm gonna take my left hand in between there. I'm gonna reach behind and interlace my fingers behind that right thigh. Pull the knees in towards the chest, and then send your right leg up to the ceiling. And then lower your right leg down, and then just stay in the number 4 here. Just rock a little bit from side to side, and then we're gonna do that glute stretch on the other side. So I'm gonna slide my left leg over so my knees are stacked. Like it's almost, you know, like again, like you're cross-legged here. And then we're gonna bring the knees in towards the chest, and you can reach for maybe the shins or the ankles. And then uncross. Just kind of tick-tock your knees from side to side a bit here. And then extend your left leg long on the mat, but hug the right knee into the chest. And let's circle that knee around. And then reverse. And then keep the knee hugged into your chest. Send your right arm out, shoulder height. Take your left hand to the outside of that right knee and then guide it across the left thigh for a twist. And this is a really great stretch for the low back. Try to keep your right shoulder down, and you can look over your right shoulder. And then we'll bring it back to center. Extend your right leg long. Hug your left knee into your chest, and we'll circle it around. Reverse. And then we're going to set up for the twist on this side. So my left arm is going to come out. And then I'm going to take my right hand to the outside of that left knee as I bring it across the right thigh for a twist. You can look over that left shoulder. center. We'll bring both knees into our chest, circle around a few more times. Then reverse. And then extend everything long on your mat. Reach your arms overhead. Give yourself a big stretch. And then you'll make your way into our Shavasana. So you want to have your legs are opened a little bit and just kind of let your feet flop open. The palms are up to the ceiling. Just resting your body. And remember, if there's something that feels better to you for Shavasana, if you want to bend your knees, of course, that's fine. And then just taking a few moments here to relax your body and quiet your mind. And then begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers, your toes. Gently roll your head from side to side a few times. And then take your time, bend your knees, and just gently roll over to one side of the body, whatever feels good. Just rest your head on your arms or make a little pillow with your hands. Take a few deep breaths here. And then very gently use your hands to push yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Keeping the head heavy, and the eyes remain softly closed. And together, we bring our hands in the Anjali Mudra, which is the prayer mudra, thumbs to the heart center. The light in me acknowledges the light in you. May you have a happy, peaceful day. Namaste.
Namaste.